Hey guys, I'm Rob, this is Kim, and today on Little Man Cave on the Prairie, we are going to get back at the 4-door budget build that only cost us $300.
So this lift came from Kyle at Tracker Farm from Duncan, BC.
And what I like about this one, okay, this isn't going to be a massive crawler or anything like that. This is for us to go out on the back trail and have some fun and everything like that. So he kept it cheap by not putting in a strut spacer, and he uses a strut flip. And like I said, what I like about this is that you don't need anything else. Okay, conventional spacer lifts, you've got to replace your shocks because the travel is different lengths now that you've lifted it. Well, these come with spacers. Great. Your originals are just gonna work. You're gonna throw in the kit and be able to go out. And the other thing was, comes with camber bolts. Well, these are a $40 item, $50 item that you have to buy afterwards, and it comes with it. So we're gonna throw it in and then we're gonna test it on a different video and see how it does. Alrighty, start out with the front. I've already taken out the bolts for the locking hub here, and we got it all up on jack stands, and got the hood open for the struts there so we can get them from the top. I had a problem with one of these and it took us quite a bit, so I didn't bother filming that. Ended up, bless you my man, and ended up having to do a bunch of work. So those are out. We're just gonna tap it off because this whole thing was really on there, and I think I'm gonna have a problem with a lot of these nuts and bolts. Wow. Oh, that doesn't look too good either. So I have to replace those. I don't know. We'll get into it later. All right, now I'm just taking everything off. Everything on here is so rusty. We sprayed these a couple days, like you guys will notice I'm doing different clothes than the intro. We sprayed these like 3 days ago, and I'm just getting to it now, and I'm not gonna show, me going through all that I gotta go through, because all you're gonna hear is a lot of impact and, stuff like that. So I'm just gonna take stuff off and show you how it goes on. I'll have to tie that up. Okay, now we're just gonna jack that up a little bit. And nice and slow, like it's just got to come up a little bit. Just to take, right there, that's good. And all that we're doing there is just taking the weight for the spring, and it's not going to push down the spring anymore, and now it's safe to take out the strut bolts. All right, now I can, well actually I'll take this up first. That's just a little clip for your brake there. Before I take out the bolt. And this one I'm gonna have to pound, and that doesn't want to let go. So I'll get those two out next. All right, I think actually I'm gonna take out this snap ring first, which sometimes is not very nice, depending. I like to help it on the bottom too. There we go. And take off the little spacer washer. Okay, now start popping that back. There we go. Okay, now I can go after the castle nut. Like I said, everything, I'm having a problem with everything that's rust right now. I'm not even going to try that. I think I'm just gonna try to snap these off, and then I will take an impact to it and shear that right off. I've got new cotter pins for it anyways. Yeah, everything's rusty. Okay, let's give that a spray, and I know that this, everything, like there's no getting this off with wrenches and stuff. So we're gonna put the castle nut upside down, and we're gonna put it back on the tie rod, and then that'll give us a better chance of beating it out without messing up threads. There we go. Saves a lot of hassle. All right, now I can 14 mil on the sway bar, and that is done. Oh, that rubber doesn't want to come off though. Okay, there we go. Don't lose those. I did that on the 2-door. I lost these 2 pieces. That sucked. Okay, now this is really rusty, like I've said 2,700 times. So I'm just gonna make sure it's wiggly good enough. Because what you can do is you can start lowering down and your jack will just separate from the ball joint. This will stick for a second, and all of a sudden that spring's gonna load up and shove it down, and it's just a noise you don't want to hear. So now we can lower this down. Just like that. So now it's hanging on the spring again. Yeah, see? Give her some slide. Just trying to keep my hands out of the way. And I'm just slowly letting it down. Oh, this is probably the most rusted one I've ever had to deal with. There we go. I can get my spring out. That's done. Alrighty, so now that we've got everything like that, I can get the strut out and I can start working on that to get that strut flip done. And this one's going to be pretty easy to get at. You know, just gotta move some wires to get at it. But over on the other side, I had some stuff in the way. I had that in the way, so I just took it off. Now I can get to those ones. There we go, struts out. Now I can get it over to the bench, start doing that. Okay, now we're gonna take this apart. So we're just gonna impact this off, and then we've got to actually cut off these bolts, and the kit comes with new ones. So I can get that off first. Just kind of wedge something in between there so you can brace it for the impact. And that comes off. There's a locking washer. Oh. Like I said, this is really rusty, so that comes off. Just rusty. There we go. I don't know if you guys can see that, but like, it was just rusted inside. And like the shaft, everything is just disgusting. Disgusting. So, all right. So the way that this goes is I'm going to clean this up best I can. Get a lot of that welded or rust off. Okay, so now we got to cut off the studs. You can see on the back there, they're kind of pressed in, and you won't just pop them out. So usually you just cut them, or you can press them out. Your choice. But and then normally you would have to drill this out to the size of the nut that, or at least with my last lift, it had oversized nuts for this, so I had to kind of drill it out. But I've already checked these, and you don't have to do no drilling. You just pop them in, and those are grade 8 bolts too. So I like that. Stronger is always better. All right, let's get to it. So I am going to cut these off. And just flush with the top of this thing here. That's all we're gonna do. Make sure we have our safety gear. Go. Grab our trusty. Actually, I'm gonna let that cool down a little bit, maybe. No, I think we're good. Okay. Now, just gonna set this on top, and then I'm just gonna hold these on either side, like so it can pop out the bottom, and then it's just hit it with a punch. You know, give her a good swing. Might take a couple. I don't have too big of a punch. There we go, there's one. Okay, so this punch was too big, so I'm actually just using this Allen key socket because it fits. And Kim stole my other one for work, so let's at her shop. There we go. Another one more. There we go. So now you like that. Okay, so instead of this going like that, like it was, we're just gonna flip this piece. Okay, then our washer can go on, locking washer, and then we can put the nut back on. And that's it. And then we can throw it back on. Okay, now we can get those struts in. And we're going to use the bolts that are supplied with the kit. So it's a bolt, 2 washers, and a locking nut. Just going to stab one up with a washer underneath. And I can get in here. Get the first one in. Put a washer on there. Then I can put the nut on. There, that'll hold for now. Get another one in. Same thing, put the washer on. And the nut. Get all 3 of them, tighten it up, get the other one on. Easy peasy. Okay, so you'll also realize that once you get your kit, one is going to be, you know, this one's 2 inches, but this one is like 1.5 inches or something. It's a little bit smaller. Now, that's not to say that it's going to not be 2 inches. It's just that it goes in the front, and the way it goes in is more where it's placed on the A-arm. Like if you go in closer, it's going to push the A-arm down more, and if you come out further, it would be less, right? So where it's got to sit there is the reason that you're still going to get 2 inches, but like don't think that you got a wrong piece or something like that. So also underneath here, I didn't mention it before, you got to take out this rubber mat or rubber insulator, I think it's called, and then that goes on top. And then that, and then the spring. So it's going to go like that. So now we can get that in there. So get that pushed up. Now the end of that part of the spring and the end of that part of the spring is 2 different sizes. You see that one is smaller. Easy way to tell is usually the paint is good where it's been sitting on the rubber insulator. And that one will be rusted where it sits in here and gets water and stuff. So that's the way that goes. And actually, you're also gonna see kinda, you can line up where that actually sat. That's probably the best place for it. Just so that, you know, you're not doing anything wrong. And then that goes on there. Sometimes this can be the difficult part, is getting it into where it was. There we go. I was trying to do it with leaving the axle in, because once you get this in here, sometimes it's a kind of a pain to get it, the axle back in with the spacer and all that jazz. So, but it ended up that the axle popped out, but that's okay, because really, here, all that rust, dirt, debris, that should all come out. So we're going to pop out the axle, and we're going to get in there and we're going to clean all that up, put some fresh grease in there, you know, do it right. Now usually I am, when I take all this stuff apart, I usually paint it, you know, springs, A-arm, all that crap. I'm not doing it this time. We are going to get new struts. These ones are pretty much toast. I should have got them before I did the lift, but once again, I need the vehicle, so I will order them, and then I will pop all this back off, and I'll give it all a paint job then. Okay, now that I've got everything cleaned up, I can start sliding everything back in. So, like I said before, sometimes this is a little bit tricky to get this back in. So what I do is I bring it up, I push it, like, because you have some movement. So I'll push it right in, right to the back. And then I'm gonna turn this off to the side a little bit. Whenever I can. There we go. Then hold it down there. And then just guide it in. Sometimes it takes a little bit just to get the splines matched up. There we go. Now she's going in. And with the extra space on the, like for the spacer on the spacer lift, it, you know, you're that much longer of the spacer. So getting it in can be a pain. If you have a problem with it, sometimes you can get, you know, two people, get a hand lifting up and getting it in like that. But then pretty much we're gonna jack it up, throw everything back on, all the bolts and everything. But remember, it came with camber bolts, right? So we gotta put them in. So only one is gonna go back in here. And, but yeah, everything's ready to be reattached. Slide it back up, get that done. Okay, so got everything put back in. Now it's just the camber bolt. I've got a full video on camber bolts, so I'm just gonna kind of, you know, simplify, explain this to you. The way it works is that you've got this lobe, right? And this is gonna go on the top one. And when you turn it, this being higher on this side, or out more on this side than this side, this would be like nothing. And this would push the top this way, which takes your, you know, your tire and it bends it this way, because after you put the lift in, just the way the geometry and stuff goes, is that you're pushing down on the A-arm, or putting more distance to the A-arm, so it's going to press down. So it's going to kind of tip in at the bottom towards the vehicle. So if we can, you know, suck this in more and pull it in towards the vehicle, that takes everything and does that. So we'll slap them on and get everything bolted up, brakes back on and everything, and then we can quickly move to the back. The back is actually super simple. Okay, all done. So in the finished product, you're gonna want to have this tab towards the engine, and okay, so if this piece came out flush with this, that's pretty much stock, right? So this has come in, a little bit better than 1/8 of an inch, I guess. So it's gonna turn everything, you know, out at the bottom, in at the top, and kind of straighten everything out. But that's that one. And make sure, so on the, so you have the tab here. That means on the inside of this ring, the furthest ring this way, there's a tab. That's got to go inside, and then the bolt goes on the other side of it, okay? So with that said, the front is all done. Just, you know, everything's hooked back up and everything, and now we can move to the back.
Now that Rob has done the front, I'm going to move on to the back end. So we got new shocks for the back. The old ones were really rusty and hard to get out, so we had to cut them off. This lift will be quite easy. This is what it comes with, just for a shock extender. I think it'll be pretty simple to get together, so let's give her a go. So now we're just going to put in the 2-inch spacer and the rubber insulator, and Rob and his handy pushing skills, we're going to put the spring in, and off we go. Push. Oh, good. Just like that. All right. So we'll get those put on. And this, move that out a little bit. Put that there. All right, and then we're gonna put our nuts on. Get that one tightened down so far so we can get the other one on. Okay. So since the axle is down there, Rob's gonna take the jack it up for me so that I can get the shock into its home. Okay. Good. So now that the shock is in its home, I'm going to take my washer and my locking nut and just tighten everything down, and that's your lift.
Well guys, that's it. Lift is in. Everything went in perfect. We had a hard time with rust, but you know, those things happen. I want to thank Kyle at Tracker Farm over in Duncan, BC there. It seems like a great lift. We're going to go test it though too. That'll probably be coming up pretty close. Kyle was on hand for me if I had any problems. I'd never done a strut flip before, so when I messaged him, you know, things like, okay, well, you know, the outside washer, which way should it face or something like that. He got a hold of me. Actually, he was out on a wheeling trip and still got back to me ASAP, so that I really thank him for that. Everything's level, looks great. We got quite a bit of lift out of it for what I kind of figured. I wasn't expecting as much, I guess, maybe. And I don't know, for me it was kind of fun to, you know, just you and I throw it in. Like, you know, it took us a lot longer with videotaping and stuff, but like, person can do this in a weekend, no problem. Really, if you worked all day hard at it, you could probably just slap it in, you know, and be wheeling by the next day type thing.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, the biggest thing is the change to the actual vehicle itself. It looks a lot higher from
From what it was.
Just what it was. I mean, given we have bigger tires and whatnot, but yeah, it does look a lot bigger and ready for winter, I guess.
Yeah, ready for the ready for the trails, right? And that's the thing that I did actually like about this, is I didn't have to go out and get shocks. I didn't have to go out and get, you know, camber bolts and everything. Everything was there. You would just order the kit, you throw it in, you go out wheeling. Yeah. Perfect.
We did have to get shocks though, because ours were rusted in, along with all the other rust.
Yeah, that was fun. But no, everything was pretty much straightforward, and it was great. So if you guys like what you're seeing, and you want to see more of the budget $300 rig, which we will be putting a lot of things into. We have a lot of plans. Now, when we say budget, like, it's a $300 rig, but it's if we have to spend time at it, well, that's just, you know, a good time for us. And so we are going to spend time at it. So like, we want it to look good. We want to fix the body. We want to, you know, stereo, lights, all that stuff. But what we mean by cheap is, okay, well, what if we use Amazon, or what if we use Rock Auto, or, you know, there's certain things like you don't want to get that, like axles off of those type areas. You want to stay with, you know, Suzuki Sidekick, Chevy Tracker, Geo, you know, you want to stay with the OEM. But for other things, you know, let's make it cheap, and hopefully the kids will have a blast this winter. Well, us too, really. Yeah. You know,
I'll enjoy putting in the stereo and the lights.
Yeah. Yeah, you like this. I don't like electrical. But yeah, if you guys got something out of this, hit the subscribe, hit the like button, and we will catch you in the next one, guys. And hopefully we'll get some buggy work done too. Take her easy.